I love Superspeed and Speedsters. The idea of moving faster than the eye can see, outrunning bullets, or even messing with time itself is just undeniably cool. From blockbuster movies and TV shows to animations, we've seen all kinds of speedsters showing off their moves. But as much as we love them, there's one big problem. They're ridiculously hard to write consistently. The cooler they look on screen, the harder it gets to keep them balanced in a story. It's what I like to call the Superspeed dilemma. And it's something writers, filmmakers, and animators have been struggling with for decades. In this video, we're diving headfirst into the complexities of writing speedsters. Why do they always feel either way too overpowered or weirdly inconsistent? And more importantly, how do we fix that? Stick around as we brainstorm some creative ways to make these characters balanced, compelling, and an integral part of any story. Whether you're into Quicksilver, the Flash, or any other speedster, we're breaking down how to solve the issues holding them back and unlock their full potential. The problem with speedsters. Let's get to the heart of the issue. Speedsters are often too powerful to stay interesting. Take Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, for instance. His scene saving everyone in the mansion while time basically freezes? Absolute gold. It's one of the most unforgettable superhero moments ever. But here's the problem. When you show him moving so fast that bullets might as well be taking a nap, you've written yourself into a corner. That kind of speed means he's got to have super durability, insane stamina, the ability to process time in slow-mo, and the skills to react perfectly. So here's the question. If Quicksilver's that powerful, why doesn't he just fix everything instantly? Why doesn't he stop every villain before they can even think about being evil? And that, my friends, is the Superspeed dilemma. When a speedster's abilities are pushed to such extreme levels, they start breaking the story. You either have to nerf their powers to give the bad guys a fighting chance, or turn the villains into over-the-top, borderline nonsensical powerhouses. Either way, fans lose. Their favorite character gets sidelined or beaten in ways that feel forced and disappointing. To figure out how to fix the Superspeed dilemma, we first need to categorize the different types of speedsters we see in media. Broadly speaking, most speedsters fall into one of three categories. The eternal speedster. This is the type of speedster who experiences the world in perpetual slow motion. Every second drags on like an eternity for them. Take Red Rush from Invincible, for example.
Crap.
How is this going to work if I can't hold your interest through one conversation?
Hold my interest? Olga, please. You can't see things how I do. My perception is just as fast as I am. The briefest conversation with anyone seems like hours to me. It's agony.
He's constantly living life in superspeed. Or Metro Man from Megamind, who can analyze entire situations in the blink of an eye.
I began to realize, despite all my powers, each and every citizen of Metro had something I didn't. A choice.
From a psychological angle, these characters are fascinating. Imagine how isolating it must feel to live in a world that's always moving at a snail's pace compared to you. But here's the catch. They're incredibly difficult to balance in storytelling. If they're always in super speed mode, how do you create tension or stakes in a fight? It's hard to make anything feel like a legitimate challenge for them. 2. The intentional speedster. This is the most common and recognizable type of speedster. Think the Flash, Quicksilver, or A-Train. These characters live at normal speed most of the time, but can switch on their super speed whenever it's needed, whether they're dodging bullets, saving someone, or battling a villain. While they're easier to connect with because they aren't always on, they're also the hardest to write consistently. One minute they're untouchable, and the next they're tripping over minor obstacles because, let's be real, the plot needs them to. Balancing their powers without breaking the story is a constant struggle. 3. The realistic speedster. These speedsters are the most grounded. They don't have superhuman reaction times or the ability to slow down their perception of the world. Characters like Dash from The Incredibles or Makkari from Eternals fall into this category. Because their powers are more realistic, they're easier to write without creating massive plot holes. Their limitations allow for more compelling and immersive action scenes, but they also lack the jaw-dropping wow factor of the other two types. Personally, I love these speedsters. They strike a good balance between being impressive and believable, even if they don't completely steal the show. Why speedsters feel overpowered. The root of the superspeed dilemma lies in a perceived power imbalance. From the audience's perspective, if a speedster is shown to be so fast that they can dodge bullets, move faster than thought, have super stamina, super durability, and super strength, it becomes hard to accept any scenario where they lose or struggle. This is especially true if their defeat relies on a power or ability that was never established beforehand. For example, in Dark Phoenix, Quicksilver is defeated by Jean Grey, who suddenly demonstrates the ability to react to his speed. The problem? We've never seen Jean Grey do anything like this before. It feels like the writers pulled this ability out of thin air just to nerf Quicksilver. Similarly, in X-Men Apocalypse, Quicksilver loses to Apocalypse due to an ability that was never shown earlier. After breaking his leg, Quicksilver simply sits there and whines, completely forgetting that he has super speed and could use it to escape. Red Rush from Invincible was able to hold off Omni-Man's punches and save his friends, yet later, he somehow gets brutally killed by him. In the MCU, Quicksilver perceives bullets in slow motion and moves people at super speed, but in the climax, he somehow fails to react in time and takes all the bullets, dying instantly. This same issue arises in other media, where speedsters are defeated by surprise attacks or unexplained weaknesses. Now, nobody should comment with, "In the comics, he had those powers." Remember, the majority of the audience doesn't read comics. Films and comics are different mediums with different needs. If a speedster is going to lose a fight in a film, the audience needs to believe it. That means writers should establish the rules of their powers early on and stick to them. If a villain has super speed, demonstrate that ability early in some way. The key takeaway here is consistency. Now that we've identified the problem, let's talk about solutions. How can we write speedsters in a way that keeps them balanced, consistent, and engaging? Here are some ideas. For eternal speedsters, embrace the internal struggle. For eternal speedsters like Red Rush, the real conflict shouldn't be external, it should be internal. Imagine a speedster who experiences every moment in slow motion. To them, a single conversation might feel like hours. They're constantly bored, isolated, and struggling to connect with the world around them. This opens up incredible storytelling opportunities. What if the speedster's greatest challenge isn't defeating a villain, but finding meaning in a life that feels endless? This is done perfectly in Megamind, where Metro Man goes on a journey of self-discovery, searching for meaning in his life as his perception of time is incredibly fast. For intentional speedsters, give clear limitations. Intentional speedsters need clear rules for when and how they can use their powers. For example, maybe their super speed drains their energy, so they can only use it in short bursts. Or perhaps they need to charge up before activating it, giving enemies a window of opportunity to strike. By establishing these limitations early on, you create tension and stakes without making the speedster feel nerfed. For realistic speedsters, get creative. Speedsters who are comparatively realistic might not have the flashiest powers, but they're the easiest to write consistently. Instead of relying on slow-motion sequences, focus on creative ways to showcase their speed. For example, Dash from The Incredibles is fast, but enemies can still challenge him. He has to use his brain to overcome obstacles and win fights, which is why his action sequences give us an adrenaline rush. Makkari from Eternals beautifully uses her momentum and speed in combat. She actively participates in team fights, and her action and running scenes are a delight to watch. My personal suggestion: create obstacles. A-Train from The Boys is handled fairly well. He has super speed and is desperate for fame and fortune. But to remain the fastest man alive, he has to inject Compound V, which is enlarging his heart. This is how you should nerf a speedster, with logical, well-integrated consequences. Writers should focus on creatively adding obstacles like this. Focus on the villains. One of the best ways to balance a speedster is to give them a worthy opponent. Instead of nerfing the speedster, make the villain stronger or smarter. Maybe they have super speed as well, or perhaps they use traps, illusions, or time-based powers to counter the speedster's abilities. Or they might exploit the speedster's weaknesses, like their reliance on momentum, their inability to change direction quickly, or even by holding their loved ones hostage. There is a lot of untapped potential when it comes to speedsters. Super speed isn't just a cool power, it's a storytelling goldmine. By exploring the psychological, physical, and emotional implications of moving at incredible speeds, we can create speedsters who are not only powerful but also deeply relatable. Imagine a speedster struggling with the loneliness of living in a world that moves too slowly, or one who uses their powers to help others but at the cost of their own health and well-being. The possibilities are endless. It's time to move beyond tired tropes and explore the true potential of this incredible superpower. In conclusion, the super speed dilemma is a complex challenge, but it's not impossible to solve. By categorizing speedsters, understanding the root of their inconsistencies, and experimenting with creative solutions, we can create characters who are both powerful and compelling. Whether through internal conflict, clear limitations, or innovative storytelling, there's so much untapped potential waiting to be explored. So, what do you think? How would you fix the super speed dilemma? Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.